למרות שפרופסור פרני כמובן חופשי לגמרי בעברית, אבל הוא העדיף בכל זאת לערוך את המושב האחרון שלו באנגלית, אז זה בסדר. So we'll have this session in English. Before introducing Professor Pranay, I just want to mention two volumes. I think all of you might know, but just in case, one is the volume of פעמים, which is devoted to cemeteries, number 9899. It was published in 2004. And the second is the bibliography by Falk Wiesemann, Sepulchra Judaica, of more than 8,000 publications about death and cemeteries all around the world, very nicely organized and indexed and all that. I said in the morning that it is most appropriate that we begin our day with Professor Mina Rosen, and I think it is most appropriate that we end our day and the conference with Professor Mauro Pranay, who's a professor at Bolonia and head of the president of the European Association for Jewish Studies, and we are very appreciative that he came here just before the grand meeting in Ravenna, which ordinary people would have been puzzled for months and not do anything before it, but we are glad to have Professor Pranay here nevertheless. Professor Pranay has published extensively about many topics and manuscripts, and he's organized also a big project of גניזה איטלקית, manuscripts that are in manuscripts and pieces of manuscripts that are in book bindings and found extremely important findings, unknown tractates of the Talmud and the Yerushalmi and commentaries and things like that. Now we are glad that he is into tombstones, and we are eager to hear what he says. Professor Pranay, please.
Thank you very much. אני רוצה לומר לכם את הסוד מן הסודות התורה. אם מישהו רוצה להיות מנהל של European Association for Jewish Studies, קל מאוד. אתה, אם אתה הוא, צריך לסדר אחרי 4 שנים שאתה היית למנהל, לערוך כנס במדינה שלך. זהו. Very, very easy. And so I would like to suggest to Andreas to think about, because next president will be Judith Olsovich-Langer, which will be nominated in Ravenna next July. Because, why? She is a very leading scholar, but it's not that the motivation. Because in July 2014, Judith will organize the Congress in Paris. And so why Andreas in July 2018 will not organize a Congress in Mainz? And you will be president for 4 years of the European Association of Studies. Very easy. Sorry, now I forgot to ask to my friend to get some picture. This is my vanity, sorry. So, and also, in the meantime, you can pass that. I would like to speak about Jewish tombstone in Italy. We know, and I want to run about this introductory consideration, that Italy played a role, very important role in the development of Judaism from Eretz Israel to Europe, in particular Ashkenaz, because was about umbilical cord. We transmitted all the heritage of Palestine to Mishnah. We know, Mishnah, Talmud, Seder, liturgy, all through the natural bridge, which was Apulia, the Jewish academies of Bari, Otranto, Trani, and that. The much important period of for the literary text of epitaphs was Barocco period. We know also that Jews in Italy were never many, and so not important for their quantity, but for the culture and the culture in particular related to the book produced by the Jews of Italy, because we know that about half of all the Hebrew manuscript, non-fragment, kept in the collection all over the world come from Italy. And the same we can tell for the Hebrew cultural resources, because Italy produced a lot of that, archives, manuscripts, archaeological documents, catacombs, the inscription of the first millennium, Hebrew inscription of the first millennium, comes in a big measure from southern Italy, we know. In Western world, Hebrew was rebirthed in the 18th century to be used as not in liturgy, in Venosa, exactly in the text of epitaphs. I like to define the tombstone and archives on stone to be saved, because the epitaphs in Hebrew contain very, very particular and important also information. A kind of information that you can not to find in the official sources, because in unofficial sources you cannot find the why for what someone is dead, of if he during his life a woman was a very, very nice worker in some field. And moreover, the peculiarity also of the epitaphs is that official sources contain mainly documentation relating to the big, important, and rich men. Can be Jews and can be Christian. Because I think that in Italy, about 60–70% of the documentation in the archives is related to the Jewish bankers. Many people think, consequently, that 80% of the Jews were bankers. Incorrect. It's possible, this mistake. Because it's amazing. There is no, also in my birthplace, small city, Castel Goffredo, Mantua province, there was a bankers, because there was no, starting from the end of 14th, 15th, and 16th century, an important place in central northern Italy without a Jewish bankers. And the documentation is exclusively in my small cities when I was born. There is only documentation related to the bankers, and so we can know think that so all the Jews were bankers because there is many documentation related to the bankers, because the official documentation was exclusively related to rich men, rich bankers, rich families before. The epitaphs in some way is the starting of popular democratic documentation, also related to, of course, important people got very, very nice, wonderful, artistic tombstones, but also simple men were described as life, and so is a first popular archives on stone. We have to say that because for sure in past 50 years this heritage was damaged much more than in the previous 5 centuries due to many air pollution, acid rain, and also the fact that the stone material is not always very strong marble, such as the strongest one is Pietra d'Istria, a stone caved in Istria Peninsula, very, very hard, especially used in the cemeteries of marshes, Adriatic coast, such as Ancona, Senigallia. They are fantastic because they are so hard to the warming excursion, night, day, and so are wonderful, very, very hard stone. But not all the stone was like that. And the Venetian Rabbi Leone Modena, in his work Historia dei Riti Ebraici, writes about the funerary liturgy and practice of his time. And he wrote, in many places they put some stones of marble on the site of the sepulchre of the dead with epitaphs written in several ways, poetry or in prose, adjusted to the name of the dead, celebrating his praises, indicating the day, month, and year of his death. Some characteristics of Italian epitaphs and tombstone. I can anticipate that are the same. We have to tell if we would be speaking about manuscripts or about history of communities, because we know that, for example, and my friend Andreas can confirm that the fragments of Hebrew manuscript reused in German, in Germany, are quite old in Ashkenazic writings, such as the fragments found in Sephardic lands reused, such as Girona particular typology, are exclusively in Sephardic script. On the contrary, the fragment reused to bind books in Italy are about 1/3 in Italian script, another third about in Ashkenazic, and the third in Sephardic script. Why? It's the same motivation why in the most important communities of northern Italy we have 3 scola. Scola is synagogue or group. Scola Italiana, scuola spagnola o levantina, e scuola tedesca or Ashkenazi. In Venice, in Mantua, in Ferrara, in all these cities, there were three groups. Why? Why? We know that starting from the end of 14th century, in 15 and also in 16, many Jews went to Italy, especially central northern Italy, not only due to expulsion of persecution such as Gerush Sfarad, of course, but also during the period of humanism and Renaissance, attracted by the culture of Italian Renaissance and humanistic period. And so this is why we get manuscripts in all the three main typologies of script of Western world. And so manuscript, fragments, synagogues, and epitaphs. I already pointed out that the nature of information contained in the epitaphs are particular. The typical structure of epitaphs is of a first part in rhyme and rhythm, or in poetry anyway, and a second part in prose. In the part in rhyme and rhythm are celebrated the merits, the virtues of the dead person, and in part in prose we have the report: is dead the day, the year, the month, after was brother of, wife of, son of, and so. There is no absolute order in these two parts, because the part in poetry could be the first on the top of the, or could be, and the part in prose the second, or on the contrary, also changed. I already, you can find information about the family relations, his life, his work, the cause of his death as well. We can think a very nice biblical verse from Job, from chapter 19:24. Oh, if my words would be written and fixed in a book, sculpted with an iron pen on the heavy forever, they would be incised in the rock. It's good to think about what are our interests now. The Hebrew epitaphs are thus not only an archive written on stone, but also a literary poetical genre reflecting the style of the period in which the epitaphs were written. Of course, the golden era of Hebrew epitaphs is Barocco, 600, 17th century. And at best of my knowledge, but you can correct me, the use of so beautiful and very frequent rhyme and rhythm technique are more present in Italian epitaphs. Exactly due to this use of, also in the non-Jewish world, to write epitaphs became a mode, absolutely. Also invented epitaphs, fictitious epitaphs. and literary work contained epitaphs. Epitaphs written by leading scholar on the commission of someone, of family, or also as jeux littéraires. And it's also interesting to establish who is speaking in epitaphs. Many possibilities. Can speak the dead, can speak the stone, can speak a voice out of the chain, can speak also the visitors. Also, this is a very interesting literary escamotage. No? There is a wonderful epitaphs in Mantua. We will show after. To speak is the dead, indeed. Oh my friend who pass here to my tombstone. If you are very difficult in problem to think about your death, to think you are if you with fearing this, if you rei chaim koelet, enjoy your life because it means that you are living alive. Very, very interesting. Generally, to engrave the epitaph were not Jews, but Christian artisans on the commission. I'm speaking in Italy, because I see Simca looking me. Of course, for example, we can speak about a sample in Mantua. In Mantua, in a period when there was 2,000, up to 3,000 Jews in the city, with a cemetery, big cemetery, important cemetery, with Christian marble artisan engraving the stone preparing. Of course, the Christian didn't know Hebrew, but if since 10 years or 20 years or more, he was engraving 30 signs of Hebrew letters, because considering Sophist form, about 30, he knows the sign, not the language. And so the Jew give him a model of the text. But the human error was possible, as we can see after. I explained already that the presence of the three main Western tradition of script, cultural, Ashkenazi, Sephardic, Italian ones, already explicated. I want to speak about that and also ask if someone can help me in understanding. In Ancona Cemetery, the Marches, Adriatic coast, up to 16th century, the big majority are מצבות, in square shape, normal. And the cylindrical pillars written around are very few. In few years, in Ancona, in dozen of years in Ancona, they undergo a change. And the cylindrical pillars became 90%. So many as in cemeteries of the Marches, there are no other places in Italy. Because in other cemeteries of northern Italy, you can find someone here, someone cylindrical. If you, I hope, if someone will be present at the Congress next July, I am not making propaganda at all. Maybe we get visit to the cemetery of Ancona. Is amazing. 90% cylindrical. So, why? How can we explicate such a change, stylistic change? Someone suggested the possibility that this influx of cylindrical pillars can come from Turkey, where many Sephardi went after expulsion, and Ancona, the Jews of Ancona were in close relation for many reasons with Turkey, but is only a hypothesis to be established. I don't know why. And anyway, it's curious. Also, because at best of my knowledge, in the other European countries, so many cylindric pillars, there are no mines, no very ancient mines. I don't know. Very curious.
Yes, this is a secondary use of Roman and Byzantine pillars, but also in Bulgaria you can find them. But this is also with the influence of the Ottoman influence. But it's a secondary use. I'm sure.
Any help will be appreciated in understanding the phenomenon. I would like to point out what already this morning I told, that reusing מצבות and like that was one of the main way to save and preserve this. But here before I want to show some sample of very nice Ashkenazic letters in this Kior, kept in Ferrara, Jewish community, is the Kior of Eliezer. Sorry. I know it. Eliezer Norsi Shnat Shin Nun Gimel is 1593. A sample of absolutely Sephardic letters. This is very, in my opinion, could be quite ancient, but there is unfortunately no date, what is very strange. What do you think about this point of the name Felice, Marat Felice? Point is the name, okay. But we have also Me Sermene. Sermene is ancient name of the place Sermide. As already Vittore Colorni pointed out in his studies, Me Sermene, Sermide, and after Yetzav, Eshet, and this this one is Yod, so long, Yod, Yetzav, probably, but I would like to ask you if, in your opinion, the point indicate only that this is a proper name, Felice, and this is Me Sermene is name of place, Sermide, and this is Rashetevot. Okay, but if this is Rashetevot with a point, and this probably is, I think, Yetzav as well, I don't know, but why here no point and here point? So I tried to think to the possibility to calculate a date, summing up the letters with a point. What do you think? But comes 400, 15th century. Because this is the end. There is no other script. Anyway, it's a puzzle. And so, in order to preserve this very, very important heritage, is to be missed completely. Because every day, I think, today, some letters is missing, unfortunately. And so, this gives me energy to work. It is so in 2008, I founded and inaugurated this series, Corpus Epitaphiorum Hebraicorum Italiae, published in Florence by La Giuntina Press, and the first issue is dedicated to the cemeteries of Mantua, and Mantovano is the book which, is. This is another sample of very, very wonderful Ashkenazic script. Be sure that these points are not, as someone suggested, originally with someone of iron or metal inside. No, are only ornamental devices. Very nice ornamental devices. It's very nice. This is from Ancona, and so we can see also in Ancona, which is not so northern Italy, there was many Ashkenazi. But I have as well another problem to understand. In Ancona, I found many ornamentation like that. Here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, mainly 8 like that. I put other samples, Ashkenazic wonderful as well, and that. There is many. No, this not. So what are these star or flowers? It's not a familiar label of something. It's not stemma. No. What is? Because in the matches, in particular, Ancona, Senigallia, not far, and also Pesaro, I found many casual, a mood. The members of a Chevra, I don't know. Any help is welcome.
Males or females or both?
What?
Males or females or both?
Both.
You can say that in Germany, from the 18th century onwards, they're mere ornamental. We have stars with 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're one or more on one gravestone.
Okay, but I don't want to exclude that it's only ornamental, but why I found so many in the Mercis and in other cemeteries, no, one. Why here in the Mercis a lot? Many, dozens. Casual? Maybe, I don't know. This is a true office of studies. We are sharing the problems, not only the conclusion. This was from Fermo. This is the cover of the book which was captured by the friend. This is the phenomenon of reusing tombstone. It's amazing. What happened for our manuscript, Andreas, happened also for the marble of the, especially due in Italy to two kind of motivation. The first one, expulsion of the Jews from, for example, from Bologna, which belonged to the state of the church. In 1569, the Jews were expelled first time. That cemetery in Bologna was sold to sisters of a monastery, and of course they also, if the majority of the Bolognese Jew go to Ferrara, near Ferrara, 30 kilometers, but under the Estense duchy, they couldn't take with themselves very, very heavy מצבות. And, for example, someone, 60 years later, was reused in the Verso side as tombstone for a Christian. And if you went to Bologna in the medieval museums, this Mazzeva is mounted like that like that. You can see the original in Hebrew, you change and you see, but it was written like that. This is not a problem. Reusing. And so I told, expulsion, persecution. But there is another motivation. At the end of 18th century, Settecento, for example, Mantua was under Austrian rules. Francisco Giuseppe. The emperor ordered that no longer cemeteries could remain inside the cities. They must to be transferred out of the cities. The same ordered Napoleon, few years later, at the end of Settecento, and so this was why many old cemeteries of the Jews were missing, are lost, because on this occasion I noted the Jews of Mantua transferred to the new place in San Giorgio, small valley, up today, the much more important epitaph or tombstone from the artistic point of view, or importance of the death, of the man, the scholar, the rabbi. But due also to a situation of abandon in the last 100 years, you know that the Italian communities became smaller, up to few people, no money, with some absurd, particular Italian law, because in Mantua, the municipality cannot give money for the management of the Jewish cemetery, as a non-Jewish cemetery, because the property is of the Jewish community. The property of it is because should be of the municipality property. This is quite absurd because the Jew that buried in the cemetery pay the taxes as normal cittadini mantovani. But this absurd law like that. And so, in a situation of abandon, the depository of also ancient tombstone transferred from the previous pre-Napoleonic or previous ancient cemetery of Mantua were put also and became a public source of marble for free. Someone need a piece of marble, go to Jewish cemeteries in complete abandon, and took a very nice and interesting piece of marble. Unfortunately, this treatment undergone also the tombstone, as we will see, of Moshe Zacuto, the Kabbalist. It's as a romance. Reusing, this is a cure in Caltabellotta, Agrigento, Sicily, which was donated by a Jew, Samuel ben Yona Shivon Nuhoeden, in the year 1478, probably to the Jewish community of Agrigento, to late Rakesiadaim, before, was reused in the 60s of past century after a found underground, and up to date is the baptismal font in the church of Caltabellotta. What better of this interculturality and dialogue between the religions? It's wonderful. Have a look at this picture. This was a pizzeria named La Stalla, and there are two small columns, ornamental. What this represent is the entrance of a pizzeria near Mantua, very near Mantua, very near, 2 kilometers far from the previous ancient cemetery of Mantua. And the two cylindrical pillars contains the epitaphs of two leading chief rabbis in Mantua during 18th century. One is the brother of the Kabbalist Aviat Sar Shalom Basilea. And my mitzvah is to take all that and put together in a museums. But the problem, sorry, let me tell a joke. There are few people we needed to help me fecondare, to make pregnant the reality, to make reality pregnant, in order that after some months, for the human being 9 months, a child come, no? There are a lot of people, also Jews, that speaking, oh, one time you met, oh, okay, yeah, yes. The reality not became pregnant. the reality should become pregnant and gave birth to something. So to take all this and put in museums. Andrea, you understand me? These are some MA theses I gave on Jewish cemeteries, which are ready to be published in this series. Finale Emilia, Cento, Senigallia, Pesaro, and Correggio. What helped a lot me in the research for the volume of Mantova and Mantovano was the fundamental work of a chief rabbi in Mantua for 52 years, Rabbi Marco Mortara, in the second half of 19th century, who about at the middle of this century copied many texts of epitaphs still extant to his heights in Mantua. And I found this transcription in this autograph, Zikronot, of Rabbi Mortara, a book note, personal book note of memories. This rabbi copied every thing interesting for Jewish history, epitaph, he copied. He became chief rabbi in Mantua, and this is the page in which he wrote המצבות, אלה מצבות מצאתי בבית החיים של קהל קדוש מנטובה. אלו מצבות מצאתי, is folio 2 recto. But someone I refound few years ago, someone no. Very nice surprise was to find the text of epitaphs of the first Colorni, who went from Colorno near Parma to Mantua, and whose first documentation is in the studies of Vittore Colorni, who wrote also genealogy of his family. Is the first documentation is in 1517, no? And but when Vittore Colorni wrote the genealogy of it, he didn't see this autograph of Mortara. And this is the text. We can see the rhyming rhythm, wonderful devices. With in the part in poetry, the upper one, we have this rhyme in mim, 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 tamim, ayamim, yetomim, and so on. And this is the second part in prose. Shemuel, Mikolorno, Zeker Sadir Livracha, Ben Shlomo, Zichrono Lechaye Olam Haba, Anesach El Amav. We have the day, the month, and the year. And Colorni suggested a hypothesis not far from the reality of document. Translation is not requested. It's exactly what I told before, a sample of Masevar reuse for the Christians after 60, 70 years. This is the wrong and consequently unfinished tombstone of Yaakov Chaim Dalla Volta from Mantua, a member of a leading family of Jewish pharmacists in Mantua, dead on May 23, 1735. I was informed by the son of Professor Vittore Colorni, Zikrono Livracha, that there was in Mantua such caminetto barbecue with this marble piece written in Hebrew. But only few letters were sent me by email before I was able to put in this book, and actually in this book there are 3 letters. After the book was already in the press, I went to Mantua and cleaned for 5 hours this, because the חוקר צריך לעבוד גם, and I cleaned many hours with chemistry product like that, you see, because was put in such a way in 1950 when a man, now 80 and something, bought this house and exactly in the area of the old. I have enough voice. Sorry. Both this house in and reused in such a way, and because the written part is very right, and the back is like that, he put the text written here up, and so from 60 years the fat of salsiccia is coming. No kosher fat of salsiccia is coming under the text, but fortunately never was in a cemetery, and I will explicate you why. Finally, after a strong work, the text appeared. Only this is the wall, and I am almost sure only the last word, but there is the rhyme which help. And so, the text was, מצבת קבורת היקר איש תם וישר, כבוד מורנו רב, יעקב חיים מלוולטה, זיכרונו לברכה, נפטר לעולמו ביום שני בסיוון, עתה וצדה ליצירה, תהי נפשה צרורה בצרור החיים. The parting prose is up. אם יעקב שמך ואות חיים, לא על פני תבל תיקח טוב רב, כי רק באור עליון בעץ חיים, שם תכסה תמיד בשלום רב. Quite conjectural, but so you hear rhyme and rhythm, you can dance the epitaphs. Very nice, very wonderful. I checked well, and what the engraver was wrong, because he wrote מצבת כתובות. Human mistakes. כתובות. So, if was the contrary, if צריך לכתוב bet and you was wrong, put a resh, you can make the basis. But the contrary is not possible. A very rich, wonderful pharmacist of Mantua can accept it in his burial place a corrected with stucco, some impossible. And so I also, after finding the mistakes, I observed that the text starts about of the second third from the top, but why the first third up is unwritten? My idea, my fantasy is big, but I think is probably like that. The Christian engravers, after sculpting the text, called the familiar, the relatives of the dead. I finished the text. You have to come to choose some ornamental devices to put in the top, on the top. They arrive. Someone, maybe Hebrew, maybe who wrote the epitaph. Oh my God, כתובות. אני מצטער מאוד, אבל אתה צריך לעשות עוד אחד מצבה חדשה. And so happened. And the new one was put actually in the cemetery. And is missing. I don't know where it is today. This one, the Christian artisan, in my opinion, told, I want to see if it's possible to reuse. But reuse in a cemetery, no, because text wrong. In a cemetery, you read also the verse, no, the back. But if someday I have to put in a wall, I put the wrong text, you cannot read, and I can reuse. But this from the 1735 up to 1950 didn't happen. And so the Mr. Who bought the house reused in such a way. But the day after, I did run to the archive of Jewish community. I found actually Yaakov Chaim Miravolta, which was a member of some confraternities, Chevrot, up few years, 2 years before that. And so, historically speaking, is absolutely correct and valid, but was wrong and consequently unfinished. It's a curious sample, eh? This is another very interesting, we already saw. 2 pillars of, in addition, you see that is put not on this level, no, but in the municipality area, and also it seems that also the owner of this house cannot have any rights on this. This is one, the first, cylindric, and this is the text. This is the brother of Aviad Sar Shalom, Basilea. There is also rhyme, Nikrati, Tosefet, Gorefet, Refesh, Nefesh, and this is the first. But this is translation, is not important. Is the brother of Yassar Shalom Basilea, who was Kabbalist in Mantua. This is the second one. This is very nice because is a Norsa member, Avraham Norsa, many Norsa. Norsa in Hebrew, Anorsi, mi Norcia, Nursia, the motherland of Saint Benedict, no, the patron of Europe, I think. So, Anorsi, Norsa, Nursia, and enjoy until you, men with greediness in mourning and satisfied from, you look with anxiety to the fear of death, consider that it is for your own good, that for which you are crowded. And so we see someone about Moshe Zacuto cylindrical pillars. Moshe Zacuto was a very important scholar who spread Kabbalah all over Europe in Seicento. He was born in Amsterdam from a Sephardic family who arrived after expulsion from Spain, and he went also to Venice, and from Venice was appointed by the Jewish community in Mantua to be chief rabbi in the city. And he wrote a lot of works, founded a Kabbalistic chevra, and Aviasas from Basilea was a pupil of Zacuto. This cylindrical tombstone was casually found in 1952 by the this morning attendant, Professor Shlomo Simonson, and about 30, which was 1 year in Mantua to study the documents of Jewish community archives, and he wrote the book on the Jews of Mantua, no? And also Vittorio Colorni, some years older. They found casually, and both in a storage of building materials, and both and put in the cemetery of Mantua. But when I started to work on that, I asked Shlomo, where finished? I don't know. Vittore already niftar, leolamo, and so someone told me there are 2 tombstones in the Diocesan Museum in Mantua. Nobody knows what are. I go and I, without to be a genius, I read Zacuto, Lanu Zacuto. Omet ke Moshe, kemo Moshe. I hope it to be Zacuto, but I haven't the text published already about 20 years after the death of Zacuto in Ebraice Bibliografie, no? And after, but nobody saw the real. They published on the basis of transcription of someone who sent to Moritz or other. And the problem is that the published epitaphs start from the beginning, but this is not the beginning, because this is the third below. There are about 2/3 or more, a little more than half missing. Probably could be reused as building material in Mantua. I hope to have to find. Someone asked from Germany to Rabbi Mortara to find this. Mortara told, I don't know where it is finished. And so, only when Abraham David faxed me from the Machon the text, after have been very troubled, I thought that this is the end. There is many texts before. And so I was very glad to refound a missing part of Moshe Zacuto epitaphs, after that in 52 was refound and bought and lost. I refound. I hope that is finished. This is a new מצבה found in Ferrara of Dafano member. Dafano member. This is chief rabbi in Ferrara. This is another fragment found in Bagnacavallo, not far from Ravenna, which was reused to get a floor in a church. The text was on the back. You cannot visit. Only on the occasion of some works of restoration was found. There is no date, but I think it's 16th century. Abraham, no, there is the, but not the family name, only Abraham. This is another sample of a nice part in rhyme and rhythm. כאן ונטמן, מופת, זמן, מן, און, עד, און, לה, און, and so on. Eat. There is a structure, A, B, B, A, B, C, B, C, A, B, B, B. Is fantastic. This is among the epitaphs. Today we as lost, copied by by Marco Mortara. This is the second part in prose. Even Mekir, Tishaku, Tisaki is very common. But this was a Sephardic Jew. Shorasho means Farad before. This I found by chance in a corner of the present Jewish cemetery in Mantua, is Mordecai in Orsa, that in 1591. And this was one of the few I found copied by Mortara, because Mortara copied the text here. And so this is the demonstration that Mortara didn't invent the epitaphs. This is Francesco Giuseppe, Austrian emperor, who ordered was a sensibility, I think, but from hygienic motivation to do that. And this joke A, B, C, B, D, B, E, B, F, is very articulated. The rhyme B is on, and Aaron, because there was diacritic sign which in this computer are not present. This is another curious epitaph of Eliezer Rovigo, copied also by Marco Mortara, with many rhyme. Could be he was wrong because was Isha Kashafti. יכול להיות in the last minutes I put. And this is also מדרש על שמי, שמצאתי בקטע מגניזת איטליה, very early, 10th century. זהו סוף החדשות.
תודה רבה, יש לנו גם שאלות. שאלות, אז אני מבקש משמחה להגיד מילות סיום.
אז אפשר... טוב, אפשר. תודה רבה.
על עוד דבר?